Federal government moves to cut China out of Canadian critical mineral industry. This is the Great White North Report.
I'm in love with the system, never going home. I'm in love.
Finally, something I agree with the Liberal government on. Minister of Innovation, Science and Industry, François-Philippe Champagne, or Champagne, however you pronounce it. My French sucks. He wants to cut China completely out of the Canadian critical mineral industry. And for that, I applaud him for taking that stance. It's about time we got tough on China. China is a dominant player in critical minerals, refining and processing battery cell components, but they don't have a lot of it themselves. So after a national security review, Innovation Minister François-Philippe is ordering 3 Chinese resource companies to sell their interest in Canadian critical mineral firms because Chinese companies are state-owned. And any Chinese company that has more than 5 employees must have a Communist Party member. So obviously there's no separation between church and state, let's put it that way. Or in this case, church or state and business. So this order comes less than a week after he said Canada would be limiting the involvement of foreign state-owned companies in the industry. And it's true. We should be doing that. We should have been doing that a long time. We don't have any Canadian-owned companies operating in China. It doesn't work like that. So critical minerals and metals such as lithium, cadmium, nickel, and cobalt are essential components of everything from wind turbines, electric cars, laptops, solar panels, and rechargeable batteries. And China is the dominant player in refining, processing, and the manufacturing supply chain of battery cell components, something that we could have done very much ourselves, thank you. China does not produce a lot of the minerals and has instead invested heavily in overseas mines in places like Canada to acquire the raw materials it needs. That's what it sees us. They see us as a place for raw materials. China goes in, they buy a company or buy a stake in a company, find and help mine these minerals, ship them back to China for refining, and then use them in their own industry. Something we could be doing ourselves if we hadn't outpriced ourselves. So Canada and its allies are trying desperately to upend China's dominance in the field and create a supply chain that relies on what are deemed more stable and reliable partners, which is what we should have been doing forever. But because we had this glorious idea that if we open up China to trade, that they will change internally their system of government. And for a while it seemed to work, but then the hammer came down within the last 10 years, and they've showed their true face. So we're going to continue welcoming foreign direct investment, and we'll act decisively when investments threaten our national security and our critical mineral supply chains, both at home and abroad. That's also true for something so simple as baby powder. So powdered milk, for formula milk for babies. In China, there is a huge demand for foreign brands of baby milk. There's a factory out in, I think it's Kingston, that produces baby milk. It's a Chinese state-owned company operating in Kingston area and employs locals in the area, I imagine. And they produce baby formula that's shipped directly to China. It's not for local consumption because they can make more money because there's no one trusts locally made Chinese baby formula because of all the contaminants in it. So the Investment Canada Act subjects foreign investment to review for national security concerns, and Champagne cited critical mineral investments get enhanced security. Multi-step national security review process by national security intelligence agencies concluded 3 companies must divert their holdings in Canadian critical mineral companies. Cinnamine and a Hong Kong rare metals resource to sell investment in Vancouver-based Power Metals Corp. So projects for lithium, cesium, and tantalum in Northern Ontario. Sheng's Lithium International divested its interest in Lithium Chile Inc., a company headquartered in Calgary with more than a dozen lithium projects underway in Chile. Zhangye Mining Investments ordered to sell its investment in Ultra Lithium Inc., Vancouver-based resource development firm with lithium and gold projects in both Canada and Argentina. So it's about friggin' time we did that. So we're finally on the same page as the United States and have identified dozens of minerals and metals they deem essential to their future economic success. Instability created by Europe's reliance on Russia for oil and gas after the Russian invasion, and growing tension with China's reasons to ensure supply chains rest mostly in the hands of friends and allies. Well, now's a good time to start refining our own oil. So it's about time. Champagne he went to the U.S. and pitched investment in Canadian mineral projects to lessen reliance on Beijing, because Canadians can't invest on their own. We need outside investors with money to spare, and the U.S. is a great place to find it, because the U.S. passed several bills offering large sums of money for green energy and other high-tech projects. So this is a perfect chance for Canada to come in and to get U.S. federal funding for critical minerals and try and get certain projects under the U.S. Defense Production Act. Why not? We're allies. We're neighbors. We're basically friends in more ways than one. So it finally seems the Liberal government has started to wake up and realize that China is not a friend but an enemy. and a rival, as well as Russia. And the world is changing into a darker place, and it's time for us to step up. So he's saying that we certainly need to decouple from China and other regimes in the world which don't share the same values. We should have been doing this 10 years ago, or even as back in 2018, during Meng the Merciless era, and when Hong Kong protests were crushed by the CCP, or when they started building military islands out in the South China Sea and putting their 9-dash line around everything. Time for us to step up. We really need to build our military, though. So this is a step in the right direction. Finally, the Liberals are doing something that I actually like. And see how it goes. So any Canadians out there, let me know what you guys think. Should we decouple from China? Leave comments in the comment section. And until next time, this has been the Great White North Report.
I'm in love with the